greatest analogy that we can give you is the tale of Adam and Eve and the snake. If you look at the dynamic that in the garden experience, you had collective consciousness in its truest form. There was no understanding of the dynamic of I. There was really only the understanding of the dynamic of we.
Yes.
All right? And so in order to, so what could have possibly, what is the one tale that most of your religions hold to, and it's the leaving the banishment of humanity, of Adam and Eve from the garden.
Yes.
All right? And so, again, take it strictly as an analogy. Take it strictly as a metaphor, understanding that what you were doing is that you were moving from a dynamic of collective consciousness to one of more an individual consciousness. So if you take the legend, the fable of Adam and Eve and the snake, you had Adam, you had an energy of the masculine whose purest form is basically one of manifesting any desire, any dream that the feminine has. And back in the garden experience, if you were going to break it down to a gender tendency, and we only say tendency because, again, we are speaking in terms of metaphor in order to be able to, for you to be able to understand the energy that was at play, and that it was as natural as growth. And so
what I was going to say is that just as now, we all have both masculine and feminine energy within us.
Sure, but that's absolutely true. But again, it was more homogenized back in those days simply because of the dynamic of collective awareness, collective consciousness. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Adam and Eve and the snake. Adam, the masculine. Eve, the masculine, that's the manifesting piece of self, and Eve, the feminine, the dreaming piece of self, coming together with the snake, the piece of self that would say, hey, it's time to move, it's time to grow, it's time to be more, okay? Mm-hmm. So the forbidden thing that they supposedly did was that the snake convinced Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge. And then she turned around and convinced Adam to eat from the tree of knowledge.
Yes.
Now, what was the result? If you look at Scripture, it says that they realized that they were naked in the sight of God. Yes. In other words, they had a sudden realization that they were separate. They had individual identities, that they were not any longer part of the collective.
Childhood's end.
Childhood's end.